right now we're seeing fear in the traditional markets. We're seeing fear in the crypto markets. We're seeing extra fear in the crypto markets because we're seeing $6.5 billion worth of Bitcoin on the move. So anyway, I hope everybody is well. Smash that like button, give subscribe. It doesn't cost you absolutely nothing to hit that like or subscribe button because your support, like I say, is always much appreciated. But also, in this video, I'm going to talk about CRO, Crypto.com, Bitcoin and Bitcoin dominance, and the traditional markets as well. So, as I just said, there's a lot of fear in the markets right now. We've got better job data in the traditional markets from the economy, which has actually put fear in the markets because they think now we might get a rate pause and might not get that rate cut, and the market doesn't like that. So, obviously, we've got the FOMC meeting coming towards the end of the month. So that is going to be very, very interesting to see as well. So, yeah, we've got today, it's the markets are closed in the US. So is it going to be a bit of a flat day today in the crypto market? It could well be. So you just got to be prepared for that one. But also, you know, I just don't think there's anything to particularly worry about, in my opinion. And I've always said this. I've been in the markets for 20 years in terms of traditional markets. So I've been a long-term investor. I hold Amazon, I hold Nvidia, I hold Coca-Cola, and a few more stocks as well. And I've seen bear markets, seen bull markets, but overall, the traditional market has just been up. It's just been going up, and you get your corrections, you get your pullbacks, you get your crashes now and again. And it's the same with the crypto market. I've been in the crypto space. I've been in a few bear markets. I've been in a few bull markets. And, you know, so I see the same thing repeat. And I always say to everybody in this video, there's always going to be big moves to the upsides, but there's always going to be corrections as well. There's going to be red days. There's going to be red weeks, red months. And that is the way it is. And nothing I ever say on here is financial advice. So you always do your own research. Because I see a lot of influencers at the moment getting the brunt of the backlash saying, you've just said it's been up only. And yes, there is influencers out there who just say it's just up only. I've always said there's always going to be corrections, there's always going to be pullbacks, there's going to be red days, and there's going to be red weeks as well, as there's going to be green days and green weeks. When there's green weeks, you see everybody really excited. You're the best influencer ever, but when you get the red days, you're the worst. And that's the way it is. That's how the traditional markets and crypto markets work. It works on your psychological mind. It's all psychological. That's what it is. It likes playing on your psychology. That's what markets do. And they make you happy and then they make you fearful as well. But overall, it's looking pretty fearful at the moment. And you see on X, that's all you have to see. And for me personally, I'll be honest with you, I bought more Amazon. I bought more Nvidia. I bought a little bit more crypto as well. Because long term, you just have to zoom out and see what the big picture is. But looking at crypto.com at the moment, we've seen Chris is given the idea that stocks are now live in the US, which is absolutely bullish again. Lots of things happening. And when you're in doubt, zoom out and don't look at the 5-minute, 1-minute charts. Look at the fundamentals and look at the charts on a wider scale. I mean, like on the daily, weekly, and specifically a monthly as well. The monthly is key. That's what you got to look at. But look at crypto.com. They're starting to implement a lot of their things right now. I've noticed on my crypto.com app, I've got GBP accounts now and Euro as well. So we're starting to see a lot of things starting to happen. And we're starting to see, we've seen a big move in CRO on gone whale alert. We've seen CRO being moved. And Chris did say about that he said we've seen a lot of movement on the blockchain, and we have. And obviously they're moving CRO over to the US now, obviously, because we're starting to get a lot more US users starting to come in now because the app's going live, the exchange is live. You know, a lot of things are going on. But looking at the CRO token at the moment, the price-wise has not really changed. Yes, we have dipped down from 23 pence and we're starting to come back down. But we're still chopping between these two dotted white lines here of, like I said, we're coming in onto this falling wedge. We've dropped down. We're creating an area of support. We're dropping down here. We're hitting the area of support lines. But like the biggest support line I'm watching at the moment is around about that 13 pence mark. Now we could drop down all the way down to 11 pence. So you've got to be wary of that. So when I say I'm DCAing in, I'm only DCAing in a little bit, because if we drop down to there, I want to buy a bit more of a bag. So, you know, everybody is very different in what they want. Now, like I said, Bitcoin drops down, altcoins always drop down a lot harder. So you just got to bear that one in mind, because we can look at Bitcoin as well when it loads up. But Bitcoin at the moment, as we can see here, is just basically just trading sideways, really. We're hitting around, we went all the way up to that $108,000. But right now, we're sitting at $93,615. So what we've got to watch out for at the moment, there's always going to be a risk, more to risk to the downside, because obviously we're sort of following what the traditional markets are doing at the moment. And the risk is we could drop down potentially down to that $89,000, around about $89,000, retest this area of support, because at the moment the trend has been up. We've lost the 20, we've lost the 50, and we may well come back and retest down to these $90 to $89,000 again. Now, obviously, if that happens, CRO is going to drop and altcoins are going to drop in general even further. So you've just got to be prepared for that. A lot of volatility coming in the market because a lot of job data is coming out, a lot of economic data is coming out in the US. And also, we've got the inauguration coming in on the 20th of January. So that is going to be very key and very interested to see what happens to the market. But overall, Bitcoin is just ranging. It's not really doing anything particularly scary or anything like that. Altcoins are dropping down. And like I said, it's all up to you if you think it's an opportunity. But we can see here, Cole Menga said, breaking Bitcoin tourists are selling. Now, when we get these big moves to the downside, obviously we get a lot of retailers who have gone leverage trading, thinking they're going to get rich overnight. And obviously they start putting leverage in. And these exchanges and market makers see what's happening. They track what you're doing. And when they see there's a lot of people going long, that is when they'll pull that trigger to push the price down. And that is when you start getting panic sellers and you start seeing this drop, even bigger drop down to the downside, because people are starting to get fearful. And he said here, short-term Bitcoin holders have sold 23,200 Bitcoin. That's 2.2 billion at a loss in the past 24 hours, which is absolutely crazy. And I always say, always be careful when it comes to leverage trading. Be very careful. I don't leverage trade. I've got no interest. I'll do a bit of spot trading, but long-term investing in general for me. Now, what is also being fearful as well, as we've also seen, if we remove that, we've seen the DOG cleared to sell 6.5 billion Bitcoin seized from Silk Road. So obviously that is pulling in a lot of fear into the market. And we can see here on Watcher Guru, the government has been given the green light. So people have seen this in the crypto space and now are really starting to panic sell. They're really getting worried. Now, I personally think this is more likely going to be than a whole market sell down to downside. This is probably going to be OTC, which, if you don't know what that is, that's over-the-counter selling. So it doesn't really impact the markets, because at the end of the day, the US government wants to protect investors. That's what the SEC has said all the way along about they want to protect investors. And this is what they'll probably do is, I think, is do over-the-counter, where they'll sell it to institutions and such like. So it doesn't really have, if they pull this trigger right now, obviously that is going to be a massive cascading effect. And this is why people are getting panicked. But I think it's going to be OTC now. But we knew about that back in early December. So it's not been like brand new news or anything like that. This is old news, really. So you just got to bear that one in mind. So, you know, and like we see, Quinton says, timing, just 11 days before the first pro-crypto President Trump takes office. This isn't coincidence. It's a calculated move to suppress Bitcoin before the next leg up. And this is where you've got to make your decision. Do you want to sell? Or do you want to hold? Or is this an opportunity for fear for you to DCA into the market? And obviously, this is where you've got to sit down and think where you want to go. For me, I'm sitting on my hands with a little bit of DCAing on the side. That's what I'm doing. If we do drop down a little bit more, then I've got a little bit more to buy on the side as well. So, but what I'm watching for as well is I've got to be watching for Ethereum, because at the end of the day, the altcoins, if the Ethereum rallies, the altcoins are going to rally. So I'm watching Ethereum very closely. Now, obviously, Ethereum could come back down to this 200-day moving average. We've got the 20, which has crossed the 50. So it's an area of where it's basically an area of sideways, potentially bit of down, bit of sideways action. And we can see the oscillator has pushed the price down. We can see that, and it's just been down at the moment on the daily. But what I am watching, so we're watching Ethereum very carefully. I'm watching Bitcoin dominance also very carefully, because we're coming into that area of red zone now where it could be potentially topping out. But what if you want to look really, really in detail and look at Bitcoin, going back to Bitcoin now, and look at the monthly chart. Now, if we just get rid of the oscillator at the moment and we go to the relative strength index and we look at the area here, we've just been absolutely sort of, you see where we top out generally in the past bull markets. We see here where we topped out in 2021, went into that bear market. And we can see here back in 2017, went in that bear market. Again, we can see in 2013, went in that bear market. And it's basically, it's just been dropping down and down and down. So obviously it's getting potentially less volatile. And you can see right here, we are nowhere near to get into that area of topping out. And we can see here again, we're nowhere near this area of topping out. Date there, but you can see here, we've got a long way to go till we go to topping out. And we can see here, January, dollar too strong, and we dipped. January dipped, and again, January we dipped as well. And it's potentially happening right now. But look at the relative strength index where we've topped out. Again, we've got that big distance in between that. But we started to see it's gradually coming down. The returns are coming less and less and less. So this is why I say, look on the monthly and zoom out. Again, do the same thing. Zoom out, look at the monthly. Downtrade. We've got a long way. I don't feel this bull market is over. We've got a long way to go. And like I said, we get these big dips. So you've always got to be prepared for that. Donald Trump is pro-crypto. All the people around him are pro-crypto. Not just Bitcoin, but crypto as a whole. So exciting times ahead. The inauguration is on the 20th of January. So maybe it is take this opportunity as DCA. So like I said, when there's fear, there's opportunity, and it's up to you to decide which way you want to go. So like this video, give subscribe, because at the end, your support is always much appreciated, and I'll be back tomorrow in the next video. So take care out there.